If the executioner is in jail, who's murdering in his name?
Who is Sarah's real father?
And what's on those videos that Sarah found?
All this and more on Gory Storytime.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Storytime. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig, and this is our fourth and final episode dedicated to horror TV series, season ones of horror series. We'll probably go back to this because, you know, I'm sure you noticed. Well, let's see. We did Dexter, Walking Dead,
Tales from the
Crypt, and this. There are many others. There's American Horror Story. There's Stranger Things. There's so it's a deep enough well to come back.
Walking Dead. There's so many things.
There's a lot. So we will definitely come back to this. We've done similar things before where we come back and do another round of a topic.
Absolutely.
This one, for those who don't know the show Slasher, basically, Sarah is a character who returns to her hometown where her mom and dad were murdered.
Yes.
And because there was a bunch of secrets in the town, someone called the executioner starts picking them off. And it all stems from it dates back to her parents' murder. The person who killed her parents is in jail, so it's obviously someone else. But there's lots of questions. Is it a protege? Is it a copycat? What's the deal?
Right.
You know? And there's twists and turns along the way, but basically it's like, let's figure out who this killer is and stop him. Very Scream-like, and we'll get into that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we go and spoil it, I'd say watch it. It's on a couple of different things, I think, but it's most notably on Netflix right now.
And since I forgot to do this first, quickly, the answers to those questions are no spoilers, no spoilers, no spoilers. I've done that before, but like the only questions I could think of would spoil things, and I didn't want to do that for people that may not have seen this and may decide to.
Which means turn away now, because we're going to have to spoil a bunch of stuff for you.
I mean, kind of. But anyway. All right. But that's basically the premise of the show, right?
Yeah, the premise, my understanding was one guy sat down, watched season 1 of the other show, and said, let's do ours.
Yeah, someone sat down, watched season 1 of Scream, and said,
I could do this.
Almost identically.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of plot points that are definitely equivalent along the way.
Yeah.
But anyway, why don't we show you the trailer so you can see exactly what we're talking about.
It was the right decision coming here.
Sarah, welcome home. Keys to your future.
We did good, babe.
What happened here before doesn't matter.
I'm sorry, you just looked so much more normal than I thought you were.
A picture postcard small town. A series of bloody murders.
You moved back to town, and the killings start all over again.
Did you recognize him?
Who's the executioner?
Every victim has had a deep, dark secret in their past.
Lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy. They all come together, forming darkness.
I repent, just please let me go.
gave enough to tease it without giving away a lot of spoilers. I like a trailer that does that. I mean,
Yeah.
compliments where they're due. Now, before we get into the behind-the-scenes information of this show that we love to do, we have to explain why we're really here. See, most people think, oh, they love horror movies. And we do.
We do.
We do. But this is actually just an excuse for us to sell ourselves out to any large corporation that's willing to write us a check. You know those like really big styrofoam checks? Those. Which, by the way, do not fit in my wallet. Anyway, this week our... sorry, I just wanted to switch it up a little. Instead of saying exactly the same thing week after week after week after week.
And you have said that before.
Not the styrofoam
Yep.
check, have I?
Yep.
Well, yeah, but
and the joke
that's
about
not
your
the-
wallet.
Oh, well, fine.
Yep.
But it's still been a while because it's usually the joke about the brakes
No, I
track.
have a
and-
short-term memory. I wouldn't remember if it was a while ago.
Anyway,
It's fairly recent.
this week we are pimping ourselves out to these corporations that make these fine products. Gory Story Time is brought to you by This Again, an app that tells you why the new show or movie you're watching seems so familiar. Whether it's when you're watching Joker and it lets you know that it's equal parts Taxi Driver and the King of Comedy, or one of hundreds of sports movies about a team of misfits that a coach that didn't want to be there comes together and wins. This Again will let you know what it reminds you of. This Again. Find it in your favorite app store.
And by Mid-80s Times. Mid-80s Times is a restaurant/entertainment and experience like no other. You've seen restaurants that put on jousting shows while you eat turkey legs and swashbuckling pirates while you enjoy seafood. At Mid-80s Times, you watch iconic slashers chase and kill their victims while you eat from our horror-themed menu. Who knows? If you are lucky, you may get to be in the show. Mid-80s Times, where you can stuff your belly while victims spill their guts.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else we've got to say about the show?
I mean,
basically, it's Sarah, her husband. He's a writer for the newspaper, and
yeah, I mean,
they're trying to figure out what's going on, and everyone in town seems to have a secret, and it keeps getting people killed, and they don't come forward and confess their secrets.
yeah.
And the executioner is doing it based on the 7 deadly sins, which means the writer also saw 7.
It's possible.
I mean,
It is.
if you watched the Scream series and you haven't seen 7, you're living your life wrong.
I mean, that's pretty correct, actually.
And that's a good series. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying you're wrong if you
I've
see
seen
that
one and
in-
not the other
I
in
mean,
that order.
in that specific direction.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. So now to the meat and beef of the show.
Absolutely.
For repetitive nature of me, in case you're wondering why it's meat and beef instead of meat and potatoes, that's what he meant to say years ago.
Because potatoes are bad for you, that's why.
So now he says meat and beef because he slipped and we just won't let it go. It's an old joke.
The first original show for the Chiller Network.
The opening scene of the series shows a carved pumpkin, a direct homage to John Carpenter's Halloween 1978, as the pumpkin is an exact duplicate of the beginning credits of Halloween.
Okay. In the beginning of the first episode, one of the characters is dressed as King Arthur from the story of King Arthur and Merlin. Katie McGrath, who plays Sarah Bennett, starred as Morgana in the BBC show Merlin, as well as playing Elsa in King Arthur: Legend of the Sword.
According to the show, those who are killed are being punished by for the 7 deadly sins. The show erroneously claims they are murdered by the punishment indicated in the Bible for those sins. But there are no punishments outlined in the Bible for these sins. The punishments were purely fiction.
Verna McBride, an Irish-American character, lives in house number 353.
Plus 353.
Is international dialing code for Ireland.
I just knew that you were probably not going to say plus, so
I mean, yeah, it didn't look right to be there.
Filmed in Canada, at the end of the episode, they use Canadian and American money in the first episode.
Oh. Sarah and Cam say they went to Camp Motega when they were kids, which is the setting of season 2. Okay.
A reporter at the press conference where Chief Vaughn announces Heather's arrest identifies herself as Jaina Singer. This is a nod to Jaina Signor, who created Being Erica, a series slasher creator and producer Aaron Martin previously worked on, as did the actress who plays Jaina Singer in The Scene, Paula Brancati.
Episode 5, Ill-Gotten Gains, is the first episode where the executioner speaks. When Cam...
When Cam and Sharma are investigating the house where the executioner is keeping his kill list, under Lust, Lane Vaughn, the police chief, is spelled Lian instead of Lain.
All right. In episode 8, soon your eyes will see, the DJ at the party is called Merlin. This is a reference to the BBC show Merlin, in which Katie McGrath starred as Morgana.
When Sarah is looking through her old camping catalog, she sees a picture of Cam when he was a counselor. In the image, he's holding a picture he drew. In the first shot, it appears a regular image of demons at a campfire. In the next shot, it's the sin of gluttony with demons now force-feeding someone snakes. It again changes back to a regular image by the campfire, then again to gluttony upon her final examination. It goes back and forth.
Slasher was mostly filmed in Parry Sound, Ontario, Canada, but parts were filmed in Sudbury, Ontario.
Ontario?
Yeah.
Not Ontario, you weirdo.
Whatever.
We're French.
Not
Be better at
us.
French.
Whatever.
In addition to utilizing many of the same actors for each storyline reset, each season appears in the same universe. Every season contains at least one name, place, or other item or idea that plays a major role in the following season. In Season 1, 2 of the characters met at Camp Mortega. Season 2 features Camp Mortega heavily, not heavenly. In Season 2, Episode 7, a camp staffer is named Sadia, discussed but not seen. In Season 3, the protagonist's name is Sadia.
This show began filming a month after the Scream TV show began airing. There are many similar plot points and character arcs.
Which we've already mentioned, because it was noticeable immediately to me. And I started complaining episode 1.
Botheringly so.
And the last one, the 7 deadly sins, also known as the capital vices or cardinal sins, is a grouping and classification of vices in Catholic teaching, although they are not mentioned anywhere in the Bible. According to the standard list, they are pride, greed, wrath, envy, lust, gluttony, and sloth, which are contrary to the 7 heavenly virtues. Also a thing not listed in the Bible.
Right.
All right. Now, also we give the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yes.
Rotten Tomatoes, again, just because who knows if this is your first episode. For those who don't know how it works, Rotten Tomatoes does not come up with a score of what they think a show is quality-wise. What they do is they take as many as they accept as real reviewers, and they take all their reviews, positive and negative, and just, for positive, it's thumbs up, negative, thumbs down. What percentage gave it a thumbs up? That's how they get their critic score. The people score is just people logging on to Rotten Tomatoes get to say, hey, I liked it, hey, I didn't, whatever. Positive and negative, same thing. So this week for Slasher, Season 1, the critics
had it at a 70%.
And the people had it at 66%, which is a little
Both
lower.
Are considered, whatever the word is, fresh.
Yes. I would say, well, we'll get into what we think.
Yeah.
Now, for the TV shows, we're trying to do something a little different. For like Tales from the Crypt, we did our favorite and least favorite episodes. For Walking Dead, it was favorite and least favorite change from the comics.
Dexter, it was favorite character and least favorite character that weren't Dexter.
And this one, we're just going to go old school, and it's our favorite and least favorite scenes.
Oh.
Was that not what?
No.
Oh, what was it?
Kills.
Right.
Favorite and least favorite kills.
In this, that would be...
Most of the scenes?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
At least the favorite and least favorite. I'm going to say we should do favorite first then.
Favorite first?
And for me personally, it was when, spoiler alert, Sarah's actual father, the executioner that murdered her thought to be father and her mother
yeah.
and cut her out of her mother's womb, saving her, actually.
Yeah.
Ironically. He gave himself up to protect her.
Yes.
And threw himself on a saw blade. It was a
table saw,
and it was gory and it was awesome. And he's like, let her go, and I'll just let you take me out. And he threw himself down chest first into this spinning blade, and it was bloody and awesome.
Yes. My favorite would probably just be the very opening scene kill of the very first episode, where the executioner guy walks up to the house the night that those big murders happened that set off the series, and just
marked everybody.
Murders everybody. Just slash.
I mean, he actually killed two people.
Then saved. But it was just really
what
bloody.
ends up being his daughter.
It was really bloody. There was just neck blood everywhere.
All right. And my least favorite...
Scene or kill is what we're going. Scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not even a scene in particular. It's... And I do this with movies too, where I don't pick a scene sometimes. It's how much it's the formula of this first season of Scream. It's so obvious that, like, to coincidentally have all of these things fall into identical patterns. I mean, there is a formula to horror, but that's kind of the point of Scream, is that they kind of subvert that while talking about the tropes, and this follows every Scream series trope.
See, okay, that makes sense.
And it bothers me because it takes
away from this one.
Yeah, because I actually liked this, and it's a little less because I kind of saw it before.
Yeah.
It's kind of why people didn't like I Know What You Did Last Summer as much as Scream, even though it was still big enough to get a sequel, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Like, by the third one, it was straight to video. Scream is going to be making part 6 soon.
And it's not going to be going straight to video, I guarantee it.
Well, considering video barely exists as, like, people
No,
have it.
that will go straight to streaming and still make a bunch of money.
Right. But anyway.
My least favorite thing in this was probably the big reveal as to who the new executioner was. I hated it. It doesn't make any sense. Usually when there's a twist in anything, you could
literally
rewatch
explained
it.
every bit of why.
So usually when
showed you evidence of
usually
why.
when there's a twist, you could
to the point where I guessed who it was ahead of time because
it was really hard.
I'm just trying to correct the lies that you're spewing.
No. Okay. So in most things, when there's a twist, you could go back, rewatch it, and say, "Oh, that makes sense. That's where there was a reason for that to be even a little bit at all." And this, there's nothing until the moment of, and then they just spill a bunch of nonsense to explain it. But it was fake. It was bad, and it was not a good twist, and that guy should not have been who the killer was. It didn't make any sense for his character arc. It didn't make any sense for anything that he was. So, yeah.
So his problem is the killer tried to act like someone that wouldn't be the killer to avoid being suspected.
I mean, no, not at all what I'm talking about.
I mean, what you're saying is this person didn't behave like he should be the person who is the murderer.
No.
Right.
Okay.
That's how you try to not get caught, is by not...
Okay,
if you walk around with a sharp thing and just going, I'm going to murder people...
Except he had to have an accomplice, which they never revealed there to be one, because of scenes where him and the executioner were in together.
That didn't happen. He's remembering wrong. Anyway.
I'm not.
You are.
I'm not.
You are. There was never a scene of who the executioner was and the executioner
Yes, there
together.
was.
No, there was not.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm not going to say who it is.
Paid more attention, apparently.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate season 1 of Slasher?
I'm going to end up going closer with the people and say a 6.
I'm going to say 7. I would say it could be better, except
yeah, it could definitely be better if it wasn't for the fact that I'd seen.
You know, I'm going to even say
every
6.5.
piece. I'd seen
I'll go
every
6.5.
piece. I'd seen people killing for religion in movies, saying that it was because of the 7 deadly sins. Seen it.
Yep.
All right. I've seen the.
Everyone has
there's
a secret.
Dumb guy in a mask who walks around town killing people because of some dumb shady stuff from one girl's past. I've seen that a dozen
this wasn't
times.
one girl's past. It was the whole town's past.
And it started with hers.
And right, but I'm saying this killer, it wasn't really tied to
But
her as much.
I've seen the.
Other than it was inspired by.
I've seen this person has baggage in their history. I've seen that this town has baggage in their history. I've seen oh my word,
you're only dating me because of my connection to this horrible story.
Right.
Which comes up too.
Yeah. I've seen all of it, all the little pieces.
Like I said,
I've seen it all.
That's the problem. Like
it's like I liked it all before, and I liked it all this time, but I liked
nice
it all
to
before.
See something new.
So yeah, definitely 6.
All right. Well, I said 6.5. I changed it from 7. That seems to be everything, right?
Yeah.
So,
small thing to mention, which is our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Is going absolutely
nuts.
Yeah.
I'm assuming what happened was we're getting a bunch of bots because we're at over 500 likes, and that's like 320 new ones in the last month. We would have more views if that were actually real.
It's like if that was real, this video would have more than 6 views in a week. All right.
Basically.
So, real people keep the good work up, and like stop the bots if you can.
I don't
know what they're doing.
It's weird. But anyway, all right. Throw it over to the stuff over there so we can give our...
you can go to Fact Day. No, you can watch the show on Fact TV channel 1076, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
Oh, right over there?
Oh, yeah.
You can like us on Facebook, and when I say us, I mean Gory Storytime, obviously, and Fact TV. They stream it live sometimes and whatnot, and they have a bunch of stuff that you should check out.
Absolutely. You can go to factdate.com and watch a bunch of the back episodes of this
and other
a bunch
shows.
of the other entertainment that they do have.
Yeah. Other shows. We do other shows that many people in this town do. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase.
I'm at Jiggly Firm Brain. I just tweet funny things that he says in or out of context.
Whatever makes it funnier.
Known or unknown. There's tweets that he hasn't seen currently that he doesn't know that I've tweeted.
Anyway, and there's also my YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to that. It's Juggalo Jakes. It's got this. It's got music videos. It's got sketches. It's got our 100th anniversary special, our 200th
we've been
episode
around
special.
For 100 years.
Well, our 100th episode. Well,
that's not our 100th anniversary.
Anyway, our 100th episode special.
I'm looking good for 121.
No, he isn't.
Oh, man.
Anyway, that's about it, right? So
I believe so. Until next time, I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig.
And sweet dreams.